Hello everybody and welcome back to another game from Duos and Dark Calls, the team tournament for Fury of Dracula. This is a match between Azaghal8 playing as the Hunters and Geo playing as Dracula. So the two players, Azaghal is representing the team called Dark Horse, and Geo is my teammate, aka the other garlic farmer. Hello to everybody who's watching this live on Twitch, and hello to everybody who's watching this back after the fact on YouTube. Remember, everybody who's watching this live on Twitch, there is a prediction right now in the chat. I've done it slightly differently this time. The prediction is running for 30 minutes. Well, probably about 28 now. So you got 28 minutes to vote in the chat who you think is going to win the game. Currently, we have one vote each for Azaghal8 and Geo. So feel free to wager your channel points, and if you get it right, then you'll win lots of points back. So I've set the prediction running for 30 minutes, so we can see the first 30 minutes-ish of the game, and you can make your... So if you want to wait a little bit before you vote, that's fine too. Did you... I think Snuff you wanting Azaghal to win. Unless I am mistaken. You said Lego #1 Tolkien fan in Sweden, and then you voted for Geo. Does that make sense? Anyway, hello everybody. Oh no, Peter Wizard... No, wait, Peter Wizard wants Geo to win. What? But I thought Peter Wizard wants Azaghal to win. He said Azaghal hype before. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, we had a hired scouts day one with Godalming. Valona and Naples have been ruled out. I was paying attention this time. So there you go. That's what's been happening, and we had local rumours in Vienna. That was obviously negative. Scott's all set up here from Azaghal. So obviously, from me, there's going to be quite a lot of bias towards Geo winning, because Geo is my teammate. So it'd be advantageous to us if Geo wins this game. We're currently inside the top 4. Oh, Mina drawing local rumours again. That's a tad unfortunate. Oh, I see. The friendliness vote, Snuff. Nice. My support is emotional. Channel point gambling has to be smart. Oh. Oh, this is controversial. So you're hyping for Azaghal, but you're putting your wager on Geo. Oh, it's already getting controversial in the chat. That's okay. So yeah, Geo and I are inside the top 4. So obviously a win here will make that a lot more secure. We do have a couple of games in hand over the teams below us, so that does help us out a little bit, but you've obviously got to win those games. We are currently in the top 4 as it stands. But we've only got 1 week left after this, folks. The league phase is wrapping up, so we've got to make a last push to try and get the best finish that we can. And obviously, if any teams that do finish the top 4 will go into a best of 3 knockout. So we're trying to vie for certain places there. But do you know the definition of guilt? Guilt is when you feel badly about something, but not bad enough to do anything about it. Fair enough. Yes, that is true. That is true. Look at that, all the intellectuals in the chat going on about guilt and the like. Anywho, obviously I think you voted, but I don't know if you can vote again. Oh, there's an early wolf form, but with no misdirect. Ooh, interesting. So will there be a rumour token here on this space? You'd like to think so if you're playing this early. I don't know what Geo's doing. We've not discussed any strats here at all. In the first tournament, we actually talked a lot about strategy, but partly because I've been so busy with stuff, but also just because we're just going about it our own way this time. I trust Geo with whatever he's decided to cook up. I like early wolf form if you've got a lot of hosts and aristocratics. Yeah, you could try and separate those two, and that could be really handy. Obviously, this can be completely foiled here by Jonathan Harker making an appearance, as it's happened to me. He went to an extremity and wolf out of the starting space. Yep, very possible. Very, very possible. I've done this before, but it's just the lack of misdirect is interesting. I know Gio's saying that he doesn't really favour the misdirect these days. Right, hi Jay. Bye Jay. Yeah, wolf form from the center of the map could be really nice. An early wolf form from Strasbourg. Even if you do find the Strasbourg or Zurich location, then how are you going to find this thing? Because there's just so many places to check. Normally when I try to do this, Jonathan Harker gets played, and that ruins everything, but never mind. Yeah, so you got plenty of time to vote. I'll try and remind you, we've got 22 minutes still, so we can hopefully get through the first week in that time, so hopefully that'll give you a bit of an informed decision about who you want to vote for. So you don't have to rush. Hopefully there'll be some other votes going in, otherwise Snuff and Pizza Wizard will just be... someone will be winning an additional 1,000 points, and that's it. But obviously everyone who's watching on YouTube, if you want to check out any of the other games live on Twitch, then feel free to follow my Twitch channel. It's in the description of this video. And also the links to all the other people who record games from the Fury of Dracula community, like Snuffleupagus and like Pizza Wizard, are in there. Oh, 1,001 oh. Oh, sorry, that 1 point makes all the difference. So what's been happening? I haven't really paid attention. Apart from the local rumours, we haven't had anything else really noteworthy. Garlic's been discarded, nothing really. Blood transfusion on Mina, probably the best thing to be revealing on her, to be honest. It tickled my fancy. Oh god, it's been a long time since I've heard that expression. So I've run a couple of adverts at the beginning, which means we won't have an advert for another 90 minutes. So that's good. So I have to see. Actually, I don't know how quickly Azaghal played. Azaghal, so anyone who doesn't know, Azaghal is sort of a newer member of the community who's come in for the first time. Oh, was it an early scan? Okay, I missed that. Swing and a miss. But it's partly just to rule it out, because you just never know. But also, it's also sort of a bit of a power play move to say to Dracula, yeah, this side of the board doesn't have to do anything with tickets anymore, because we're sorted. Yeah, Mina's tickets are good. Godalming, maybe the item distribution is decent, or maybe Mina's fully stocked up with items and Godalming can just supply up later. So yeah, I haven't seen any trading, but I might have missed it. There's only problem when I'm looking at chat, I'm not really looking at the game. Oh, I'm yawning instantly. That doesn't go well. I have got tea though. I have some Earl Grey. We can only run one prediction at a time, so we can't do the tea prediction. That's okay. There's a slightly earlier match than some of the other games, so I think a lot of the American crowd are maybe not going to be able to watch this. I know Geordie normally, or Gio rather, normally watches the streams, but he's playing, so he won't be watching, so yeah. Maybe not a big surprise, there are not as many people watching, but feel free to say hi in the chat if you are. If you want to look away, that's fine, you can look away too. We'll see if there's a newspaper. I guess now the first space is rebatter. It'd be interesting to see if Geo misdirects it tonight before it slides over. Oh, well, I guess it's once it slides and you get misdirect, just to counter a possible newspaper draw day one. No rumour token, which kind of baffled me a little bit. But maybe the rumour token will be placed on the wolf form location once Geo is able to ascertain if there is newspaper reports or not. Yeah, good question, Pizza Wizard. I think also a lot depends on the general movement that the hunters have. If the hunters have a lot of movement and it's all set up, then you could probably wait, because you could allow yourself that extra turn to do other stuff. But if you're worried about movement, you might want to have that extra day to allow you to get into the right position, because sometimes there's some parts of the board you can't get to in 2 days if the movement isn't cooperating with you. So yeah, we'll have to see. Not many Dracula events in the discard right now. There's only 3 out of the first 12 supplies of the game. So, yeah, Geo's missing one. Nothing here really... I mean, the Crucifix... I should have been paying attention to who was discarding this stuff. That must have been from Godalming, I think. Discarding Crucifix and maybe... Yeah, Dogs and Crucifix. That's kind of interesting. Knapsack start could be good here. Yeah. Especially if you can lair this location before the hunters get to it, because then you could even put like a bats or something in it. Especially if it's undiscovered. They might just trigger it anyway. Definitely interesting. There's another psychic scan. Good army of prevailing sword to powers. Yeah, possibly. I guess I had it in my game where I drew either local rulers or evil presence on Seward or in general, but the problem was I wanted that 3-2 ticket to get up to Paris, and I kept drawing 2-2s, and at which point you're thinking, is it worth going up to Bordeaux? It also depends. Yeah, it just all depends on Seward's tickets. If Seward has got poor items, he might want to just keep up supplying. Yeah, definitely not easy, but I think there is definitely some merit to moving Seward up if the tickets sort of play ball with that. Okay, there's the rumor. Okay, so what Geo's trying to do here is to okay. If there was a newspaper, Azaghal didn't choose to play it. Geo's trying to separate these two encounters in the sense that even if they do find this one with a newspaper, then this one's going to be really hard to deal with. Sod's Law, the Hunters will now draw newspaper reports. Oh, Jonathan Harker. Well, I did say earlier, Jonathan Harker is going to be a problem. Maybe drew a good encounter after he plays his first one. Yeah, maybe. Maybe it was a dud hand at the beginning with only one good card, put it down, and then suddenly drew another one, and then realized, oh, I could actually now do this play. Jonathan Harker is going to be a bit of a shame, because it kind of renders all of this strategy useless, and this is kind of something I was talking about when I made the ally video, and I know that went on for a very long time, but the reason why is because I feel Jonathan... Oh, there's news. Fucking typical. So yeah, I think this is the problem with doing an early strat like this. If all it takes is Jonathan Harker to get played at all, or newspapers to be drawn at a suboptimal moment for Dracula's perspective, and then suddenly all of this plan is unraveled. And I think this is actually why Jonathan Harker is better than we used to think he was. At least, I'll put it in my opinion anyway. His ability to render a lot of early stuff, or early Dracula shenanigans. It could also be Galat's start, I suppose. Galat's and wolf form here, or is it... There's no way Dracula... Oh, fake wolf form? Yeah, but again, it's kind of rendered useless by the... It's rendered useless by the whole Jonathan Harker play. But then, I could definitely see that working. If Jonathan Harker doesn't get revealed here, then I could definitely see a fake wolf form. Oh. So Godalming discarded 2 rifles. So he must be very well equipped. Unless he's got like double Heavenly Host or something. And then Mina got rid of the pistol and is revealing a knife. Which is, out of all the 3 things that you're showing, I think that's very interesting. I know Mina normally has a knife, but you don't really want to be showing it, because it gives Dracula full knowledge that the knife is there. Unless, does Mina have like 3 knives or something? If you've got the horse, just show the horse. Although, there is the risk now, and I had this in my previous game, where giving horse to Mina is actually not a good idea, because if Dracula suddenly dark calls and get vampiric influence, you can just snipe that horse very easily. Although in my case, it didn't happen that way, because Dracula took the heroic leap offer. But, you know, if heroic leap saves a horse, it's kind of an interesting interaction. So what do we think? Does this change our predictions somewhat? Those, especially Pizza Wizard and Snuff, since you voted already? Does this setup that you're seeing here potentially change how you would have voted? Seward and Van Helsing just got it. Reeves. That's nothing very interesting. I like Geo's Moxie. Okay, you're gonna have to translate. That's not a word I'm familiar with. Okay. Ooh, interesting. So it was Sofia. So it could be Varna. It could be Bucharest or Varna fake wolf form into into Constanta. Or it could be Belgrade. It was on the America quiz. That doesn't ring a bell. That doesn't ring a bell. Okay, Gadami is rolling horses. So... Was it? I don't remember. Okay. What is Moxie? Okay. Gadami went to... Klausenberg. Well, he could have been there. Not a word we use over here. Determination or nerve? Oh, we just say nerve. Okay. But nerve and determination are a little bit different. I guess it depends on the context, I suppose. I wanted to win for self-interested tournament purposes. Oh, I see. How dare you, Snuff. So... Yeah, John Van Hagler is doing a lot of work. Gio's the favourite. I guess in terms of Gio's experience, and the fact that he is on his favourite role, and then also when you look at how Gio managed to play in the Immortal Invitational last year, and also in the League of Dracula, didn't make it through to the quarters. But we were both saying, I had a quick chat with Gio before the game, we were both saying that we haven't really seen Azaghal play very much, maybe because a lot of the games didn't get recorded for one reason or the other. I don't really know what to expect from Azaghal. I did play a couple of practice games with them before the tournament, but now, so many things can happen during the tournament. Oh, there's a Speedy Telegraph on Mina. But she discarded a stake as well. Yeah, that stake is interesting. But then maybe she has one already. But then why would you reveal the knife? That's the thing. That's what I don't really understand. So I'm interested. I'm really surprised that Gadami went into Klausenberg, because if you're right that it was Varna, Gadami can't get there. Do you reveal stake or knife? I reveal stake. I think the combat obscurity is more important than Dracula knowing you've got a stake or not. Oh, but Snuff would reveal a knife. Interesting. It was Varna. It was fake wolf form. Look at that. Well, that's certainly very interesting, but that means then Dracula is now really close to Gadami. You could also have a little bit of bravado here, and if Dracula is now in Belgrade, Dracula could just go into Sofia. Yeah. Gio's going ballsy. I like it. So this is actually really dangerous, because, well, this is a bit risky, because we don't know, does Mina have Charlie Carriage? She could get in there. They have 2 encounters to fight through. If Gadami prioritizes Constanta, he might not be able to stop it, depending on what this hide card is. If it's Fog, he might not be able to stop it, depending on what Varna is. If Varna is a hoax, there could be Unearthly Swiftness, which just forces through this vampire mature. So, yeah, I don't mind it. Yeah, the Eastern Lands can be very dangerous, especially for newer players, because you've got so few small cities. Ah, it's only wolves? Ah. That is not as strong. That's a shame. That's not too strong. No weapons. Is this horse stake Heavenly Host? I did almost say it in the commentary. Gadami has to have a stake. You don't move forward onto a rumored token like this. Fog would if you'd get the Unearthly Swiftness after the fact. But we're assuming it's a hoax mature. What I'd actually really love here is if Godalming stakes this at night, but then Varna is a vamp. I would actually like that a lot, because it only clears one encounter from the trail. Fanging into an escape. Okay, Godalming must have a stake then. I actually wouldn't mind if there was a vampire here in Varna, because basically Dracula would then be up to 5 points. He only loses 7. He only loses 2, if that makes sense, because this would be a 7-point vampire mature. And you've made Godalming go all the way over here, potentially waste a stake, reveal he has no weapons, for then nothing, basically. So actually, I kind of like that. But I think as Godalming here, you have to stake this, because if this is a hoax, you need to get rid of this threat. That being said, there are not many Dracula events in here, so there might not be a lot of good stuff for him to choose from. That's a point. Yeah, the Fang mechanic is very interesting. Dracula wants points to win, and there's a vampire that's incentivized to Fang, but the hunters know that the Reckless wants to Fang, so they can counter it. I think it's very interesting. Anybody who's just tuning in, you can predict. You've got 5 minutes left-ish to predict who you think is going to win here between Azaghal playing as the Hunters and Geo playing as Dracula, so feel free to wager as many channel points as you want. You just do it by entering the chat. There's a little thing above the chat saying who's going to win this game, and you can predict. You can bet with as many channel points as you like. Oh, it looks like somebody else has voted for Geo. We got 2 votes for Geo, but it's still apparently still 1,000 points for each. Yeah, Varna's definitely going to mature now. Yep. It also means now Bucharest is off the trail. If this is a vamp, Bucharest will go off the trail. So Dracula could return there if he wanted to and try and catch Godalming moving out with no weapon. Or Dracula could easily walk up this way if he wanted to, if he's not scared by Mina. Oh, Mina Mina, where are you going? Oh, she has planned ambush. Whoa. I don't know if I like that move. A sense of emergency into Bucharest. Oh. That is, okay. I'm going to say this. I think this is going to go really badly for the Hunters because this is now wide open. We've seen this before in previous tournaments or previous games, especially from my perspective, where leaving this corridor open can be so deadly. Dracula here doesn't need to wolf form. He can just walk up through this gap. These 2 Hunters are not moving. They're both injured as well. Yep, they got the good horse economy. But yeah, that's very interesting. So yeah, feel free, everybody, if you're watching, get your predictions in. Who do you think is going to win this game? Oh wait, Godalming didn't stake the Constanta Vampire. Oh! Godalming went there to see if it was a fighter vamp or not, and Mina has the stake, and she had to use Sense of Emergency to get into Constanta tomorrow. I bet that's what's happening. I bet that's what's happening here. But if this is a hoax mature and there's unearthly swiftness, they can Geo can force through all this to mature. Shame that Bucharest didn't get ambushed. Wow, it was a hoax. Okay, people. Ooh. I personally wouldn't have used Sense of Emergency like that. I would have gone to Budapest and then Sense of Emergency tomorrow if that was really set. Whoa! We got Manuel Hildesheim, people. 1 out of 5. Yeah, but here comes the unearthly. We might get enough. Behind the Veil's gone. Vampire Lair's gone. The Mini Renewed Vigor is gone. Wax Cylinders is gone. And Charted Carriage is gone. So no Vampire Lair. So whatever points Dracula accumulates, those are sticking. He might have 2 Heavenly Hosts. That is a possibility. My honest opinion would be here. If Godalming does not have a stake, then I would have tried to kill it in the combat. Maybe dodge round 1, and then try to play Heavenly Host if you're not confident. What events did Drac get? Good question. Very obviously, Dracula cannot control that. But he's got 2 in his hand, which is very powerful. And he can also mosey up this way very, very safely. Oh my goodness. Geo has just accumulated a lot of points now. I think one person has put a lot of points on. I don't know who that was, if that was Pizza Wizard doubling up or somebody else was doing it. I like not searching Bucharest. Yeah, me too. But I think maybe Dracula should have ambushed. But maybe Dracula couldn't guarantee. Unless, did Godalming mistake... Wait, Godalming didn't heal. What did Godalming do at night? Oh, did he heal? No, he did heal. Godalming did heal. Maybe he does have a stake then. But why is Mina over here? Oh wait, we got a speedy telegraph. Why? What's going on? I'm a bit perplexed. I don't know what's going on. If you want to get your predictions in, I think you have a minute, people. Must care about Mina going first. But why would that matter, though? But she's got planned ambush. I wouldn't ambush here. You know that Mina's got planned ambush. Maybe they're assuming that has a... Oh, she has an escape route. Oh, right, that's all of her events burned, then. Hey, Leah, I'm Team Drac. Hey, hello, hello, welcome in. Well, if you want to quickly wager some channel points onto Dracula, then you very much can. Unless you've done it already. In which case, I'll be quiet. 20 seconds to get your predictions in. 3 people have voted so far. Geo is currently winning 2-1. Oh, you did. Nice. But 80% of the points are in Dracula's favour. So if Azaghal does win here, Snuffleupagus is going to win a lot of points. Yeah, so Mina must have a stake. But I don't really understand the... now it's ended, Terminator. But it was definitely up. It's only literally like this very second gone away. It might be your end. Okay, Seward's moving up. That's good for the hunters. Oh, only as far as Bordeaux. That's the only problem. Oh, excellent weather. Okay, I understand this urgency because you want to try and close off this gap as soon as possible. But obviously that's an excellent weather now that can't be used for other purposes. Yeah, Van Helsing, the retired man in the speedboat. He's out of retirement. Speeding across the channel. So yeah, Geo's got to be a little bit careful he doesn't get caught almost like sandwiched in here between these 2 hunters coming in this way and these 2 hunters coming in this way. Yeah, horse Whoa, what? This is a night fight. What is happening? Oh, Mina's doing it. Mina's going into a night fight. Did Azaghal misclick the escape route? There's no stake. I guess it's the planned ambush, but why would you give planned ambush to Godalming? I'm so confused. Oh my goodness, what is happening? Did Azaghal mean to use planned ambush in the day fight but accidentally clicked escape route? Because escape route pops up before and then it gives you the option. Would you like to play planned ambush? Because obviously you evade the combat before you do anything against it. If Mina has a heavenly host, then this vampire's dead. I like this strength. I really like this strength. Obviously it's a bit of a lottery here in terms of what Dracula draws. Oh! Dracula has enraged! Oh my god. That is just... Oh, wait. Oh, this is so good. Oh, this is so good for Geo. You can maybe kill Mina here. You can maybe kill her. Because you can mesmerize Fang, and her knife will do nothing. But he needs to draw mesmerize and Fangs. There's the mesmerize. Right, this is now a big question for Geo. Do you mesmerize her, or do you try to get the Fang guaranteed against the knife? This is a really tough call here. Okay. Okay, yeah, I think the punch is very interesting. I think you have to force Dracula into a situation where Dracula has to now use... You'd rather use the Enrage against the knife to Fang through it. Yeah, but I don't think maybe Geo cares about that. There's no Heavenly Host, so this vampire's not going to get, like, one-banged by this, Ooh. You know, this vampire's not going to get one-shot by Heavenly Host. Oh, plotting would have been really strong here, though. Because imagine you plot through the knife and you just Fang next round. Unless there's a second knife that we don't know about. Hey, Moose. In my opinion, gotta go with Fangs. Hey, the Reckless Vampires like to Fang. So it's definitely... Yeah, 4 damage is actually really good here. Because now you've got a situation where Mina could die 2 ways. Yeah, Mina's not going to be able to pressure. This is huge. Fangs into... A second knife! Oh my goodness. That's insane. The vampire lives and Enrage got burnt. Damn. Holy. That is very, very strong. That is amazing. Yeah, Azaghal played that very, very nicely. Very, very nicely. That was a very
Nice.
Thank you for that. That was that's a very dangerous situation for a hunter to be in there. Yeah. I had a feeling that maybe she'd have a second knife. The fact there's no stake. The fact that there was no stake, right? She's revealing one knife, so whatever she has to be more powerful than or on par with a knife. So a second knife is definitely on the cards. I was really surprised there was no Heavenly Host. Unless there is a Heavenly Host, and Azaghal saved it because there's consecrated ground. So I had a feeling that there was something fishy going on. But if Geo didn't draw a second clause or didn't draw a strength or something, and it makes sense, right? Because maybe Azaghal will try to escape at that moment. Okay, so Geo's saying you should have played the clause. 2 knives are very useful, especially if you can hide one for a very, very long time. You can really catch Dracula out of it, because Dracula will eventually think, oh, Mina doesn't have 2 knives, because it would have got revealed for wolves or something. But still, like, we have to face facts here a little bit, right? Mina is now a little bit out of commission. They've burned Sense of Emergency and Escape Route. I think the Escape Route might have been a misclick, but never mind, we won't talk about that. Escape Route and Planned Ambush, just to kill a 7-point vampire. Dracula still has an event, which we don't know what it is. He wanted to save the second clause. It's really tricky there. I think there's a situation there, if you had plotting, you have to plot the first knife, because then it's very, very risky for the hunters to do much. But it's difficult. It's difficult. So yeah, Enrage got burnt, and I think Geo was right to play this, but Azaghal played that very, very well. But we have to face facts, right? These 2 hunters are a little bit beaten up. We know what Mina's 2 items are. Mina's going to be out of commission for a bit. They're in an extremity location, so they're not going to be relevant over here for a while. Bucharest has to be dealt with. And actually, this is kind of a good thing. We were talking about it earlier, that Bucharest wasn't ambushed. Because now it's active on the trail. They still have to deal with it. Sofia is a double thing. Has to be dealt with. I mean, Geo could just rumor this now if he wants to, right? And then suddenly they've got to try and deal with potentially two vampires on the board, back to back like that. Will there be a trade between Gadami and Bina if Gadami has double HH? Yeah, possibly. I think Gadami just healed on his turn, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the items seem a little bit funky over here. But that means that if Mina doesn't have... Yeah, this room token is really well timed by Gio's part to get there. Oh! Okay, then. Okay, if you don't know, if you're new around here, Hidden Schemes allows Gio to put another encounter on this space. So now we have a triple encounter location with a rumor token. Yeah. That's, funny how this game swings, doesn't it? It was going in Gio's favour, and then Azaghal really pulled it back with that, that fight, and now it's swinging really far back towards Gio's favour again, then. I'd be tempted just to ignore it. Yeah, but imagine if you ignore it, and it's like a hoax, and a spy, and a vampire. And you've also got Bucharest and Belgrade to deal with. Yeah, but you know, I'm just being hypothetical here. But I mean, if that's 7 points for Gio, that means then that's only 2 days of movement in the 4th week. Vampire Lairs got burnt, so unless Azaghal supplies through the whole deck, that's never coming back. Gio is now probably in Zagreb. So you might be able to get to Munich before these two do, but the problem is it depends on what movement these two do, because Munich could be very, very risky to go into now. You might have to wolf form now. Maybe even Vienna might be a good idea, because Munich, these two are just going to be charging towards Munich, unless they go to trade. If they go to trade, then Dracula has a bit of time to get into Munich and then wolf form out. Unless Dracula's going to mosey around these two and try and maybe pick them off. If Mina missteps, Dracula might be able to kill. Oh, Gadami? Seward supplying. Oh, hired scouts. Okay. Well, this is honestly not the worst time. If I'm thinking about it from a Dracula perspective, it's not the worst time in the world for this to be triggered, because the hunters probably kind of know where you're going. So, it's not the end of the world, this. Ah, okay. Oh, interesting. Sarajevo's not on the trail. That means it's Salonika. Oh. Okay, I'm a little bit disappointed that Dracula's not here. Because that could mean that he could get into Munich in wolf form. If he starts moving up this way now, these two Huns will have time to recover a little bit, and these two Huns will have time to move over. I've said it in other streams, yeah, Dracula's a predator. He preys on the weak a little bit, something that Roscoe's always said as well. So, if these two get really beaten up by all of this shit, then Dracula could just mosey around here and try and pick them off, get a bats and push them into him or something. So yeah, it's definitely interesting. No worries, Moose. Take care, we'll see you again soon. Ooh, we have a heroic leap, people. Well, that'd be good for dealing with one vampire, but then Mina takes a lot of damage for that, so... Mina currently doesn't have the health to be able to play Vampire Lair. Just because we have a slight lull here in the action, I think, I'm just going to see if... Oh, it was a mob in... Ooh, imagine if that mob did trigger before this Constanta fight. That would actually change the situation quite a bit. Okay, I'm going to quickly run another advert just to push that back as far as possible, because I think it's like we're going to be here for the long haul. Just since there's not going to be a huge amount happening in the next day or so, I think. Obviously, all of you who are subscribed on Twitch will not see that. So, yeah. Obviously, everyone on YouTube, you don't see it either. So that means we've got an hour and a half or so. So, yeah. Definitely, a lot has happened in the first. I was thinking to myself, well, we've been going for like 45 minutes, just under 45 minutes, and we're only Tuesday week 2. But then again, a lot has happened in that time. We had the whole double Constanta vampire thing. We had a really difficult night fight to negotiate. Whoa, where did she get all these events from? There was a trade. So Van Helsing's pretty much emptied his hand and given it all to Mina. Slightly risky when you've got all this shit to deal with. But I guess it means, is Van Helsing just going to keep supplying? I guess so. There doesn't look like there's a lot of urgency for these two to get up here. I think ignoring the entire trail until Sophie matures because of bats in Sophie would be devastating. True. But then, what else could mature along the way that makes things worse? Imagine if that mob matured, both of these get hit. Once if there's another mob, well, mobs in Belgrade, so it wouldn't be as bad. But imagine if it's a bodyguards or something. It could even be a hoax, right? I think Dracula has quite a bit of time here. He's got wolf form as well to try and get out of a sticky situation. I would be moving up this way. I'd be playing a little bit. I'd be playing a little bit aggressive here. These two are not very much of a risk unless you get into like a 4v1 fight. But these two seemingly don't have much movement right now. Wow, and if Gadami's having to day rest, then you know things are not going in the Hunter's favor very much. That's not what you want to be seeing. You want to be supplying. You need to get through that event deck. You need to get through the item deck, especially since quite a lot of events have been burned already. You know, Planned Ambush, it's not top tier, but it's definitely not a bad card. Neither excellent weather. Obviously, Emmanuel Hildesheim got rid of some of these. Seward's only got 2 events. Van Helsing has none, so yeah, they're a little bit... They're a tad light on events, but then you only need a couple of really good ones, and it might be the difference. I'm assuming horses are at the bottom of the deck. I don't think you keep supplying here unless horses are in this lot. Oh, never mind. Van Helsing has horses. So wait, Gadami has horses. Mina doesn't. Where's the fourth horse? Where's the third horse? Is it in here? I don't know about that one. Unless Van Helsing's going to sail cross, but then again, you're going to leave this open. I think just going to Munich would have been better, personally. Personally, I think a mob mature would be less bad than risking it back into Sofia. Yeah. Yeah. So Mina's now out of there. It is deceptive. Venice is closer to the action. Is it though? Van Helsing can't get to Sofia in time. If you want to do a Valona, well, no, it's the same. You go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's actually quick. It's the same. If you've got fast horses and your economy is working, there are very, very few routes which are not quicker by fast horses. No, wait. There are not many routes which are not quicker with fast horses. There we go. There are some train connections which are very good. A chartered carriage from Genoa into Szeged, for example, is pretty good. You know, a chartered carriage from Bordeaux could get you as far as, well, maybe like Paris could get you to Venice. That's pretty good. Munich is just a strong location. It's probably, I think Munich is the strongest location on the board. Even though it hasn't got the most connections, it's got a lack of connections, which makes it more critical for the hunters to be able to cross it well. And it also is like a choke point for Dracula to try to get through. And there's not many ways that he can get through this middle portion of the board. There's a lot of room to maneuver here, and there's a little bit of room to maneuver here. Not as much, but there is room to maneuver. There's basically no room to maneuver here, especially if wolf form is on cooldown. So yeah, these basically, the connection from Zagreb to Munich and the connection from Vienna to Munich is probably 2 of the most important connections in the game, in my opinion. In my opinion. A lot of people talk about Strasbourg just because of the sheer number of connections it has, but Munich is just devastating if it doesn't get blocked. And I know I've been on the receiving end of it so many times, and I never learned my lesson. Yeah, it does. It does so much. The lack of also good rail connection across here. The fact there's no rail from Munich to Vienna is just so crucial. Hunters can't use chartered carriage to bridge this gap. They have to do it from Genoa upwards. You know, Geo is going to be very tempted to go west by land here, and that could be dangerous. Yeah, no, absolutely. Whoa, what's going on? It's a wolf form. Oh, wait, Dracula's wolf forming? Huh? Where's this? Is this from Sarajevo to Athens? Is this Sarajevo to Klausenberg? Is this Sarajevo up to, like, Vienna? There's a lot of risk if Dracula goes up this way, too, because, you know, Prague is a CG spot. Berlin's a CG nuke spot. He isn't leaving the east, also very possible. Okay. Gaddafi's going on to the triple thing. Potentially debatable. Potentially a debatable choice, but we'll find out. If there are two non-vampire encounters here, Mina could just walk on for free, so I wouldn't want to be ambushing with everything here. Do you like vamps? Possibly. That could well be the question that Geo is going to ask in the chat. Do you like vamps? I hope Godalming loves vamps. Yeah, and also using planned ambush here in a situation where you're very unlikely to kill this vamp is a bit difficult. Imagine how Reckless suddenly pops up behind this. You could one-shot the Reckless with a planned ambush as long as Fangs doesn't get drawn and all that stuff. But you can't kill this in one turn. So that's the problem. Planned ambush is really good to set up a really good round one. The problem is, in a 1v1 fight, vampires can be very tenacious and they can just refuse to die even on 1 HP. Would you like a side of vamp with your vamp? How about Vampford just... yeah, just literally wheeling them out. Okay, now this is interesting, because you could now get a situation where there is going to be a gun with holy bullets. How many holy bullets are in the discard pile? 1. Ooh, holy bullets are very much on the table here. But we knew Gadami didn't have a weapon before. We might have supplied one. Mesmerize? I like that. Ooh, into a dodge. Okay, that's now crucial, because holy bullets will not kill this vamp. Again, same thing. Imagine how Gadami uses these holy bullets against this vamp, and then suddenly there's a Reckless behind it. Yeah, I agree with you, Snuff. I would use the planned ambush in a really clutch night fight, potentially, where you need to get a really good turn 1 to try and kill this. But until you see what the other two things are, I don't think it's worth to play planned ambush. But again, it all depends on what these encounters are. If there's suddenly two very benign encounters and this vampire actually dies, then it was worth it. Then it was worth it. It's not, like everything in this game, it's not straightforward. Fanging? I don't mind that. Oh, that's huge, by the way. Godalming is now bitten. Heavenly Host is gone. Oh, and Azaghal says shit in the chat. And I think that is definitely the right reaction to that. And has the game glitched out? Possibly. Nope, there he goes. Right. This is also very important. Gadami's revealing the horse. No real surprise there. What is Gadami's other item? Oh, there's another one. And the HA would not have killed the vamp, so what's the point of using it? I agree. Oh, wow. Both escape routes and both planned ambushes have gone. And another one! Oh, no. Oh, goodness. The thing is, even if Gadami kills this one, Dracula could just not ambush Mina, or he could ambush Mina. If Belgrade is like wolves, then he could hit both of them and potentially kill them. Yeah, so this is not great, unfortunately. When you have double planned ambush and double escape route, you think you're going to be alright, but this has just been a little bit of a shit situation. So this actually, this initial location and it getting layered actually went really well for... Oh, that's another point. I feel vindicated by proposal. Ignore it. I think now we're seeing the triple vampire. I think you were very much on the money, Snuff. Yeah. Yeah. Vindicated and validated. Yes, I agree. I think in hindsight now we're seeing this. This is definitely this was definitely the wrong choice to go in. I mean, if Godalming gets out of this, Azaghal could just still decide not to deal with them. But the problem is now Godalming's at a vulnerable health where suddenly wolves might be able to finish him off. Plotting into a dodge. Oh no. Maybe just escape there? Oh wow, this is huge, because this vampire can get another point. He could get another Reckless Fang point and then escape is missed. Oh no. Yeah, this is brutal. Imagine if, I mean, Mob in Belgrade won't hit, unfortunately. Yeah. Vam should just go for the kill. I don't know if he can. I guess it depends. Well, maybe actually. If. Yeah. Well, should you though? I don't know. Maybe. I guess if you take if Garming's down to 2 damage, it depends on what Dracula draws. I think the Fang here is really good. Oh! What the fuck? Where did that knife come from? Alright, so much for going for the kill. Holy shit. Okay. Right, Godalming is hanging on by a thread over here. It'd be interesting, will Mina move in? I mean, I thought the Fang was the right play. Does Mina... Did they trade and we didn't notice? Problem is, Mina has a heroic leap, but the problem is she's so low on health. Do you ambush? I don't think you... If Mina moves in here, I don't think you ambush with these two. I think you want her to take a knight fight. Or do you? Well, maybe. If you ambush and get a lot of damage on both, then you can maybe make Mina's heroic leap a like pretty much irrelevant. I think Geo needs to ensure that one of these matures. Hey, Gyro, Revenge of the Garlic Farmers. Well, it's definitely looking like it. We're making up for our somewhat slow start. And we're trying to make a bit of a comeback here. Yeah, this has gone very well for Geo. I mean, the fight in Constanta was very, very well played by Azaghal. But now we've got a situation, we've got this triple vampire. I know one of them has just been dealt with now. I mean, we're saying, you know, that the Fang was a bad idea, but what was if Geo did the normal thing and played Strength, and then a Heavenly Host appeared, right? Get me up to speed. Well, Dracula started with a fake wolf form, but then Jonathan Harker basically dealt with it. There was a hoax in Varna that couldn't get dealt with. Dracula picked up Hidden Schemes and Enraged. There was a fighting vampire in Constanta that Mina used an escape route and a planned ambush on. Even though Enraged got played against her, Mina was still able to kill it because she had a double knife. But with the Hidden Schemes, Dracula was able to get a triple vampire location in Sofia, which now Godalming's having to be dealing with. Oh yes, he got Manuel Hildesheim, which allowed him to get look at Snuff! Snuff is predicting everything over here. Right, Mina could just die now to one of these vamps. This is brutal. Yeah, I saw that comment, Snuff, and the fact you highlighted it as well is pissing me off. Oh. Yeah, I mean, Snuff called it in the chat and said, what about bats? And you're going to get pushed into Belgrade. Alternatively, he could now get pushed, if Dracula is in Klausenburg, he could get pushed into Dracula's location, which would be pretty gnarly. Alternatively, there could be a vamp in Sarajevo, or there is a Bucharest layer. Oh, is there any way here that Mina gets pushed into Bucharest, then Dracula moves in on top of her to try and finish her off? Is that a possibility here? There's a lot of different ways that Mina could die here. There's no escape route, no planned ambush, and Mina has a heroic leap. So if she dies with this heroic leap, this is even more crucial, because that's a really powerful event that the Hunters have lost. And she has 2 other events in hand, by the way. So she is loaded. Hey, Natalia. Yeah, Drac is Drac is wrecking face at the moment, but we know this game can be very, very weird. Yeah, I assume the bats were set up for the whole Sophia layer. Yeah, right, where's Mina going? No! Oh, she's getting pushed away from the... I don't know about that one. I think you could go... I think you could go really aggressive here. I think you could have killed Mina, and I think you could almost... It's almost GG then. Gets up to 8 points. And then... Kill Mina. That's another 3. Well, I guess Geo doesn't want anything that will risk these things dying. I guess that's the way that Geo wants to play this, which I don't necessarily disagree with. Imagine if Mina has item. I mean, imagine if the trade happened. I know the heroic leap is not relevant, but what happens if Mina has weapons and stuff that we don't know about? These two vampires could die. And imagine if there is a stake here. Well, no, that's a knife, isn't it? I will see. Hey, Natalia. Yeah, I'm doing alright, thank you. How are you? Yeah, decent day. A lot more chill than the previous 3 days. So yeah, I can't complain too much. Got a good game of Fury of Dracula here, so I'm very happy. There's also another one, I think in an hour and a half, but I think it's going to be too late for me to commentate on because I've got work tomorrow at 9 AM. So yeah, I think I'm going to have to leave that for some other lovely people in the community to deal with. Yeah, I think Dracula could have played a little bit more aggressive here. Personally. There is a possibility here that Dracula went Zagreb... No, Dracula wolf formed from Sarajevo into Vienna, and now he's in Zagreb, because when this vampire matures, it'll wipe Sarajevo off the trail, and he'll go back in that direction. There's also another way that Dracula could play this. I don't like the move into Klausenburg, though, because that kind of tells the hunters that he's not there. So I'm not a big fan of that. But again, there are lots of things that I can't see from Geo's side of the board, so there's probably a very good reason why this, you know, the bats didn't get pushed into Sofia. I think you could have taken the risk there, because if Mina got really beaten up, she would lose a lot of strong stuff. Heroic Leap was on the table to be dealt with. I know one of these vamps might have got removed, but no other hunter can get there in time. No worries, Natalia. I hope you've had a good day. No worries. Feel free to lurk, and we'll be here when we might be here when you're back. But no worries. You take it easy and say hi to me, sir. Seward found the stables. He did. And I think that's kind of the thing. I'm a bit. I'm not worried here. I'm not questioning Geo's plan or anything. So there's a lot of things I can't see, but. The thing you don't want to happen here is a situation where you have a lot of pressure, and then the pressure is alleviated in some way, and then suddenly the hunters have a lot of resources and they have lots of movement, and then it's unlikely that even with knives, hunters could kill both vampires. Well, I guess you just play strength against Godalming and break his only weapon, and then he's useless. I guess that's the only way you try to play that. But then what if you don't draw the strengths, right? I guess Godalming would have lost his next day action, which would have been pretty critical as well. I think the lack of escape routes and things, if Mino's on 9 health, then maybe you could try and maybe kill the heroic leap and stuff, but I think she was there for the taking, personally. But I'm not going to complain too much, because Dracula's going to mature this. He'll be up 8 points. Yeah. I think we saw it in previous games where Geo tried to do some really aggressive stuff, like moving into like a 1 health Seward that was in Zurich, and with no encounter, and then Seward escaped. So maybe Geo's just not wanting that sort of thing to happen. Confirm delay, 2 knives kills the first vamp. Yeah, but then what happens next? That's the thing. I guess if Godalming's knife gets broken, he's now completely useless, and then you can just wail on Mina as much as you want. But what if you don't draw that stuff? Yeah, but then, yeah, I guess then you would you'd have the idea that then you give up Mina's death, which is only 3 points, to then save 6. Right, so you're basically saving 3 points. Maybe that was Gio's calculation, which I could understand if that was the case. Yeah, in spirit was missed opportunity. Yeah, no. I think playing devil's advocate is really important here, because we were trying to consider why a player would do a certain thing and why they wouldn't do a certain thing. In hindsight, it's very easy for us to go... Again, we were talking about it with... Oh, he's layering it. What? No, he's not. Okay. I thought he was layering it. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Okay, that's right. Constanta is here with a rumor token, by the way. Gio might look to go back there. And if he has double rumor token on the board, because obviously when he goes back to this layer... Oh, he's dark calling. Whoa. Whoa, okay. I don't know if I agree with that either. Just because you got a very short trail, you want to be laying down stuff. Unless Gio is in Athens and he wants to try and delay this as much as possible. But you can't now place a rumor token here. Don't know. It's very interesting. It's been a very, very interesting action-packed game. I mean, we're spectators, right? We want the fun play. We want to see Mina getting mauled by two vampires, and the whole play about, oh, do you play Heroic Leap or not play Heroic Leap? But I understand it. This is a tournament. I think if you're playing a normal practice game, I think Mina's getting sent into Sofia there, 100 times out of 100. But it's a tournament game, so you're trying to really assess it. You've got 6 guaranteed points on the table. Why on earth would you risk them? Dracula knows he only has to move 2 days in the 4th week to win, which is very important. Yeah, the Dark Hall's interesting. It'd be interesting what Gio picked up. Where are you off to? Oh, he has wild horses? Oh, man. That is not... Well, is it worth it, though? Well, we saw it actually in my game, how wild horses can actually cause a lot of trouble. Because the hunters know he has wild horses, but then they're going to be kind of worrying about it. Devastating. It was devastating. In what sense devastating? Because the problem, the game's going to get really slow now, because we're going to see that prompt every single fucking time the hunters move by horses. Or by any movement that is not sea or rail. But you can use it in a very defensive manner as Dracula. You can play a lot of bluffing games with wild horses, which is kind of cool. But in the sense of, it's devastating for the hunters or devastating for Dracula? It's definitely not the most fun card for us to see. Oh, Mina's still day healing. Oh. Okay. You check Sarajevo? Yeah. Well, we know that's where the... Is Dracula in Athens? Ah! Did No, Dracula wolf form... No. Ah, I see. You could have wolf formed that way. And then he moves back into Sofia. But then why wouldn't you just lay down something on the trail this turn, rather than Dark Calling? I don't know if Dark Calling was worth it. I don't know. It's interesting. Gio's clearly got a plan, and that's the thing. We can only speculate over here. It's been an action-packed week. Yeah, this week alone has taken about half an hour or more to play, but there's been a lot of stuff happening. Also, we got to bear in mind that hunters dictate the pace of the game more than Dracula does, just because they got more actions. And Azaghal has been under a lot of pressure early. The other reason why I'm kind of thinking like to go for the kill on Mina is, as the hunters supply more and more, you start to lose information like what the item situation is, and then the hunters will obtain more events that you can't account for. We know that we know more or less what Mina has, I think. So is there a situation here we just try and get the kill on her now and take her out of the game for a bit? It's difficult. It's very difficult. but we'll see. Oh, Gyro wants Azaghal to win. I see. Oh, he's waiting for the underdog. Okay, so Gadami supplied. Nope, Gadami didn't supply. Wait, why is it... Wait, what? What did Gadami do? Oh no, or is this a night turn? It's a night turn. I thought for some reason it turned to day. Okay, trading with Gadami. The thing is, wild horses now counter sense of emergency, which is a pretty interesting interaction. So it can really disrupt renewed vigor plays. But the thing is, if you play renewed vigor, you can move first and then horse afterwards, but it depends on the situation. That's so broken. Wild horses were useless before. Now they trigger on area, please nerf. And that's why I rated sense of emergency lower. Because they don't, then excellent weather and charted carriage doesn't get affected by wild horses. I didn't say that in the discussion video, but never mind. Oh, Gyro, you'll be pleased to know that the mini renewed vigor got removed by Emmanuel Hildesheim. Yeah, it's all going back to the tier list. We'll never stop with that. Well, I hope you've got a nice hot drink, folks. I think we're going to be here for the long haul. A lot is going to happen. Okay. Yeah, Wild Horse is going to trigger again. That's the only downside, but it makes sense. I mean, the prompts are a lot better than they used to be. Right, a lot more prompts now are hidden than before. Okay, now this is interesting. If Seward is advancing forwards... No, he's not. He's going with good arming. Maybe use Wild Horses here to prevent this trade or healing, but never mind. Okay, where are you off to? Where are you off to, son? Going to Sarajevo. Right, do you trigger Wild Horse? Because the interesting way Wild Horses works is before you reveal the trail, you then decide, ooh, it's not in Sarajevo. Is he hiding in Athens? If he's hiding in Athens, I'm wondering if Dracula's playing too conservatively here. I don't know if I'm happy if Dracula just goes to C now. He has recuperated a lot of his health, but... I don't know. I don't know. Maybe try to go into Valona and see if you can maybe bait Van Helsing into you if he rolls slow. But the Azaghal's horse economy looks really good. It looks really, 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 really good. There's some interesting layers over here. I mean, blocking Bucharest I think is really important. Do you allow this to happen? Looks like it. So it looks like Geo wants to try and use wild horses almost like how Skybreaker did, in a very defensive way, unless there's something really cool you could do here. If Dracula now moves into Valona, Van Helsing tries to go into Athens, you could use wild horses to punt Van Helsing back into Valona, and that could potentially kill Van Helsing. If he gets trapped in fog, he doesn't have the heroic leap because Mina has it. So the only other combat-based card that is in the game is Great Strength. And they might have it, but then you don't know until you try to kill somebody. Since Sarajevo's not on the trail, we know Dracula wolfed from there, so he either wolfed to Athens or, I don't know, maybe Varna. Athens seems more likely to Darkhorn feet. Yep, I agree. I think if you're in Varna, you try to get out of there as soon as possible. Unless Dracula is in Varna and he moves into Sofia, makes them think it's Valona, they charge in here, he goes into Salonika or something. I'm not too sure. I'm not really sure. Oh, there's no Rumour token available, because it's still the second week. Oh, it's all my whole thing about, oh, we didn't play Rumour token because of Darkhold. Completely irrelevant. Completely irrelevant. Again, I'm going to preemptively run an advert here, just to push that back as far as possible, because I don't know how much space we need, and I'd rather have the adverts now than at the finale of the game, so I'm just going to quickly run a 2-minute advert. And I might actually go and get a drink while Dracula's doing his turn, because I'm out of tea, which is obviously a very sad situation to be in. Godalming Mina trade is kind of interesting. So now, that's the thing, the whole item situation now, we assume that this is not a knife, unless it was a fake trade, it was also very possible. Right, I'm gonna, as Dracula's doing the turn, I'm gonna quickly go... What? I don't know what that was referring to, Gyro, I'm sure you'll clarify. I'm gonna quickly go and, what am I doing? I'm gonna go get some more water, like I said. Wolfram's on the trail. Yes. And your point being? Oh, he moved again. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so if it's Athens, he's now out of Athens. Or if he did Varna, he's now in Sofia. Unless this is not... maybe this is... not... Maybe this is Sofia and he decided to stay in Sofia, which would be very risky. But maybe I guess the hunters had no reason to go there. There's a lot of scouts that could get drawn, though. That's the thing. I think only 2 of them have been drawn so far, if I remember rightly. Well, it looks like Dracula's not going immediately to sea, which I kind of like. But now, if he's in sort of caught in no man's land out here, then it could be a problem. Bucharest is still on the trail. Or as a layer, rather, and so is Belgrade. So that kind of limits where Dracula could be. I guess with the wild horses, right, Dracula's got quite a bit of control. He can really choose what hunter to use it on. And it could be devastating depending on the exact movement. We've got Jonathan Harker in play. No Aggie, no Riversmith as of yet. The item deck has almost been spent. No Heavenly Host got used early on, remember, so a full Consecrated Ground is definitely on the table. Are you able to potentially kill Van Helsing here? Possibly. Depending on how Van Helsing moves. You could very easily kill him here. Oh, Van Helsing is day trading with Seward. I assume it's an item trade, not an event trade. We'll see if the events shift. You'll be really careful when you do that with Van Helsing because you've got to make sure you click correctly. Yeah, the events haven't changed unless they've kept the same number. So it probably was an item trade. That'd be my guess. That's the problem now. Dracula has no... Oh, a day psychic scan. I don't know why. Why would you do that during the day? Getting that information in the day or night doesn't really change how you play the night phase, I don't think. Well, it might do depending on tickets, maybe, but it looks like horses at the name of the game over here. Yeah, that's right. Dracula's now losing information about what these hunters have. And that's where now things start getting risky, especially these 2, because we haven't seen them all game. So they could be holding almost anything at this point. I mean, we can probably guess... Well, there are no holy bullets now. One heavenly host... Oh, sorry, one heavenly host got used from that reckless and it didn't work. That's right. I'm forgetting that. But, you know, all 3 knives are on the table. There's quite a lot of guns which are still on the table. Oh, no, all 4 pistols. So there are 2 rifles... 3 stakes, by the way, unless this is a stake. So there's a lot of stakes. So you've got, let's think, we've got 3 horses, 2 Heavenly Hosts, 3 Stakes, 3 Knives. That's 11 of the items. And then there are 2 unaccounted for then. 2 Rifles. I know one hasn't been drawn, but still. So we kind of actually want very few vampires. I mean, 4 of the vampires were used early. Which then means that Dracula's not going to have many vamps for a while. Oh, okay. So Dracula did indeed go into Athens, and he's now in Valona. Right, this is where things start getting a little bit risky, because if Dracula tries to... Okay, Dracula's going to sea. Well... Well, there could be a vamp here that would take this up to 12. And also, Valona would still be on the trail if this Athens thing matures. Oh, I see. The thing is, now Dracula could wolf form from the Adriatic, which I think is kind of nice. There's no wolf form, no CG nuke potential because Ionion's on the trail, so Dracula can just move there. What's the status? Dracula is in a winning position, Strider. Azaghal's played well in certain portions. There's a really good night combat in Constanta that could have gone really badly wrong for Mina, because she was mesmerized thanks to an enraged. But she pulled out the whole double knife trick. And it could have gone actually worse for the Hunters. Because there was a triple vampire in Sophia. And Mina could have got battered into it, but chose not to. What? What an unfortunate yet totally foreseeable turn of events. Yep. Right, Seward's on his way. Now do you play wild horses? That's the question. It's all a bait now of these wild horses. Who do you use them on? Nope. Okay, he's not interested in using them now. Oh, there's a bats. Okay. Well, Athens is maturing. Unless Van Helsing goes there. Oh, then you use the wild horses, I suppose. Yep. Yep. Imagine there's an aristocratic here and there's a reckless over here, and Geo could just win the game this turn. I think you have to use the wild horses now, right? Yeah, there you go. Good, 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 good. Very good. Oh, here we go. Is it a reckless vampire? Oh, I guess not. I guess it's not. Oh, imagine if it's fog and Seward gets hit with it as well. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, so Dracula this game got Emmanuel Hildesheim from a Hoax Mature, which gave him Hidden Schemes and Enraged. Enraged didn't get one vampire to mature, but it almost more or less guaranteed that another one matured. And also now got wild horses. How can Surprising Return get into 4th? I think they can. I did the quick maths before. I think if we win this game, it makes it very difficult for Surprising Return to get into 4th, but it's not impossible, because they've got a game in hand on us, I think. If we lose both games in the final week, then there is definitely a way I think that Surprising Return could get 4th place. At least thinking about our perspective. I'm not even thinking about what could happen with the Carbonara Special or the Greatest Player team. It's going to be a really close finish, I think. And even then, even if the top 4 is more or less decided by the final week, the positions for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th will not be decided at all. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that could happen here. I would not be surprised if there's a fog here in Valona, and both of these two are going to get trapped in fog. And then this is a vampire that matures, and then Dracula's only 1 point to victory. Yep. There you go. Dracula now could wolf form Doesn't have the wild horses. We, Carbon Out Special, could lose 3 of our 4 of our next 4 games and fall out of top 4. Yeah. When do we clinch? What, in terms of first place? I think you might have first place wrapped up already. Oh, actually, no, you don't, because you haven't. Neither of you have played your games this week. I think you might be able to clinch first place this week if you win both of your games, and I think maybe you need like one result to go in your favor. I think. But even then, you've got such a big IDS lead, it's going to be very difficult for anyone to catch you in first place anyway. I mean, I said it several weeks ago that you and Pizza Wizard had first place sewn up. Everyone else was playing for second. Obviously, there's a semi-final and final to go through. It's pretty ironic that all the leagues we've ever played have been so flipping close, and everyone's like, "Oh, play a final, play a final, play a final," right? And then the one time we're like, "Okay, let's play a final," and then the top team are running away with it. I think they'll clinch. They might clinch it this week, Snuff, depending on results. But I don't know. It's. We'll see. We'll see how the league table pans out once we calculate everything. Quite a lot of games haven't been played. There are games in hand, games not in hand. Right, is this a fight? Oh, it's a fighting fab. I would have probably tried to get that last influence point, but never mind. Are you covering my game tomorrow? Pass. What time is it? I may be out tomorrow. If I am at home, I will definitely try to cover it, because that'd be really good fun. I haven't seen you play all tournament, I think. In terms of a live setting, anyway. Okay, so it's looking very good here for Dracula. Very, very good. Sunday? Okay, Sunday's more iffy. Because I have, like, family commitments. It depends on what time it is. Oh, it's against Andrazot, right? So it'll be quite late in the night. Well, at least European time, anyway. You have to tell me the time, because I don't know what it is. You can tell me in UTC or Eastern. Okay, so this is looking good for Dracula. He's in the Adriatic. You know, you can do lots of things here. You could wolf form into Milan if you wanted to. Wolf form into Genoa with more fog. You could wolf form to the south of Italy if you want. You could even wolf form into this area if you want to. Because these two are trapped in fog for a couple of days, and they might not suspect you to be there. So there's lots of different options here for Geo, which is kind of what you want. The downside here, there's no way that Dracula's going to get another influence point unless he manages to kill a hunter. Oh yes, apart from the game we played, obviously. Because the problem is those reckless I would have tried to maybe ambush one of those reckless vamp when those two hunters were moving in, because we have to do it with Seward. I guess there's a risk of a heavenly host going off, I suppose. 4 PM my time, so that's 10 PM my time. Yeah. That's doable on a Sunday night. Yeah? Yeah. Are you Drac or you Hunt? I assume you're going to be Drac, right? And Andrazot's going to be hunting you, I assume. That means then Snuff and Pizza Wizard will continue their rivalry. When are you playing Snuff? I know there's the table, but I can't really look at it while I'm commentating. So, yeah, Dracula's going to try and see out the game here. If he's not careful, he might get jumped on by these two hunters, and they are scary, because they've now healed up. Their items are now a bit uncertain. We know there's a knife over here. I guess the advantage here is Mina doesn't have movement, unless there's a sense of emergency or charted carriage we don't know about. Oh no, sense of emergency got used, and Godami has the other one. Charted carriage might be a possibility. 10 AM my time tomorrow. It should be 4 PM your time. Ooh, okay. I might be out for lunch. If I'm not out for lunch, I will definitely record it, because that would be an amazing game to watch. But I might be out. Oh, you're Drac. Okay. Yeah, so then Snuff is Drac against Pizza Wizard. That makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. Yeah, so Dracula's going to try and play a little bit safe here. He could just suddenly die to these two if he's not careful. So there's definitely not... It's not inconceivable that the hunters find a way back into this game. Dracula's taking a lot of time to think, which I think makes sense here because you've got a lot of options. No, I mean, No. So what I mean by that, Snuff, is I'll be having lunch at about 2 or half 2, but we'll stay if I'm at a lunch, I'll be in a restaurant, so we'll be there for a while, and I can't suddenly be like, "Can I leave? I've got to record a game." But yes, a lot of people in Spain often have lunch at like 3 p.m. And what, especially if it's a family lunch, what they'll do is they'll have lunch and then they'll sit at the table for ages and have coffee and then keep talking and keep talking, keep talking, and then they'll have dinner. Depends on the type of family. When we have family gatherings over here, they can go on quite late. It depends on what people are in the mood for. I haven't been to one that has been very, very late. A lot of people sort of then mosey off by about sort of 6, half 6. How does unearthly swiftness work? Our Snuff. I know Snuff is an authority on how unearthly swiftness works. Yeah, everything's earlier. Yeah, yeah. The Spanish system's very different. I assume Gio's thinking here. Because it is quite a critical turn here, because if you do fuck this up, then Gio could just suddenly lose the game in like 2 turns. Oh. Oh, we might have a bug. Okay, so what Gio's saying is on his turn, it says it's waiting for Azaghal, the hunter player, to finish his night turn, or his dust turn. So, Gio should leave and return, right? Oh. Oh. Oh, I'm forgetting my days in Spanish. Amanecer is sunrise, right? Yes. Okay. It's okay. Okay. Right. I'm trying to think who has to leave here. Trying to remember who has to leave. It's interesting because I can't remember who hosted. I think Gio hosted, but that doesn't make a difference here. I don't think. Okay, he's telling it for us to do it. Okay. Okay. The 2 of us should go. I think that's the wrong order, but it's interesting that both of us are getting affected by it. It'd be easier for Gio to leave, but okay, we'll play it this way. Yeah, I hope it won't require a restart. Sometimes we do get sync errors like this. But it doesn't happen very often now, fortunately. This is the only type of error we really get nowadays. We used to have so much more back in the day. You young folks don't know what it was like. There are so many moving parts to this game, and it only takes just one just to fall out of sync with the other. The good thing is we now have a reload function, so it is possible for us to get the game back, but it might not work. Or we might get stuck on the loading screen like this. So yeah, this might take a while. So, folks watching this on on Twitch can tell me, would you rather that I just ramble on, or would you rather see memes until this gets fixed? If you say memes, I will not be disappointed. Because we might be here for a while. Especially if this loading screen does not cooperate. Yeah, the thing is, like, I've been really good. Wingspan's been really good with me. I haven't seen any game-breaking bugs. Have you signed up for the new tournament, Terminator? Bagpipes. That would definitely change the vibe of the stream. Okay, I can't get in. So this is a slight problem. I'm trying to think, who would be more likely to look at their messages? I think Azaghal8 more likely to look at the messages. But I've had this before where I can't enter as a spectator, but then the player can. Well, what's everybody's plan for the weekend? Anything interesting? Oh, okay, good. Okay, so Azaghal got in. So something went wrong, which means I can't get in. Okay, we're going to have to do a little bit of a... So I don't know what the hell happened there. Maybe it just got a little bit conflicted. Maybe I was the problem. Don't know. Okay, let's exit the game. Okay,
This is fine.
Jesus Christ.
I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
Thank you for that. Right, we'll log back in. And this is why, if anybody's wondering, well, if you're watching a neutral stream of the game, would you not get an advantage? Well, you might get a very... Oh, it hasn't updated. Apparently it's worse. Oh, not worse, it hasn't updated. I think Geo should have left. I think that was the problem. But I might be wrong. Okay, can I enter? Yep, that's fine. I don't think we're going to beat that herbivore joke that we had last night, or the night before. That was epic. So if anyone doesn't know what I'm doing, I'm sitting here and I'm waiting for the game to recognize that I've gone, and then I can log back in. It might take a couple minutes. Oh, this is going fine until now. Hey! Oh no, that's Geo leaving, I think. I've had that before. I had a game where it crashed out. By the time I got back in, the game had ended. And I was so confused. I was asking the players, "Were you able to finish? Were you able to finish?" And they were like, "Yeah. Dracula died." I think Spencer was involved with that game. I can't remember who the other player was. Because it died right in the middle of the finale combat. Okay, I don't like that that second symbol wasn't there, which means Geo hasn't re-entered. This doesn't bode well. We might have to do a proper restart here. Oh. Because sometimes the reload function doesn't work properly. You end up just stuck. I had a really wacky game where it went back to week 1. Okay, this doesn't bode well. Oh my god, what the hell is this lag on my stream? Oh yeah, I was saying, if anybody thinks, oh, listening into a neutral Twitch stream, would you not get an advantage? Well, maybe potentially the commentators might say something you hadn't considered, but also, I don't know about you, but I've got enough going on in my own head. I don't want to hear another person's voice rambling in my head while I'm trying to play. And also, you get this shit going on, which is useless. It's clear that Azaghal was the winner. Oh, here you go. Oh dear. Oh dear, this doesn't bode well. This doesn't look good at all. I can't restart my computer because it would ditch the stream. Oh. Which one? Sorry, the New York one. I'm talking to Geo, but I'm not talking about... I'm talking about the game, but I'm talking about it from just purely from an admin perspective of getting the game going again. I'm not giving any tips or advice or anything. Not that Geo needs it. I don't know what happens... Oh, I guess with the prediction I could delete it if the game... I mean, there are different things that can happen in a situation like this. We can try and get the game going again. If the reload doesn't work, then basically it's up to Azaghal and Geo to kind of negotiate how they want to do this. If they cannot agree, then they'd have to replay the entire game, which is very unfortunate. And obviously things we don't want to happen. But, obviously, if the two players can't agree on a sensible outcome for the game, then it's very obvious. If they can't finish, you'll have to restart. No, that's not necessarily the rule. Players can potentially negotiate their way out of it. The restart is only the hard and fast rule if the players are simply unable to determine an outcome that they agree on, that is mutual. In certain games where the game crashes in the final combat, you could potentially be able to logically determine what the outcome of the game would be from an admin perspective. We could say, no, Dracula had the tools, or no, the Hunters had the tools, it's going to be this result or the other result. In a game like this, I think, even though Dracula has 12 influence, there is still quite a lot of game to be played here. And as I said, like, depending on where Dracula goes, depending on the events the Hunters have, what encounters Dracula has, Hunters could kill him in one combat. But also, alternatively, Dracula could just run out the clock. So we don't really know. Hey, Coffee Jar, welcome in. How are you, Coffee Jar? I hope you're well. The rules clearly state the easiest solution to an unfixable game crash is to play the game again unless the result of the game is extremely clear or it can be negotiated between the two players. So, there you go. Yeah, Adam and Ben are amazing. Okay. Okay, I need to set up a chat with these two and try and okay, this is not working, so we're gonna have to force this to shut down. So now what we're going to try and do is get the players to reload the game. And there's a risk that it might not have saved properly. So we're just going to have to... Terrible. I heard one the other day. Probably it's a very famous one, so you all know it. But what do you call a deer with no eyes? No idea. What do you call a deer with no eyes and no legs? Still no idea. Okay, so there's a good way. The good way is the way that this has been done. We will know if this is... No, this hasn't been set up correctly. Not correct. Oh. Oh. Is this correct? Oh, maybe. Let's see. If Azaghal8... Oh, this is looking promising. Azaghal's able to select these roles. Because there's a function built into the game where if you don't want a reload file to be loaded with other players, you can click a button, which means, in this case, only Azaghal8 can play as hunters. So what that stops people from doing is crashing the game somehow, or saying, oh no, I have to go AFK for 2 hours, can we play back in 2 hours? And then somebody else loads the save file, and they can see what all the hunters have, or what all Dracula has, and where Dracula is, and so on. So it's kind of an interesting way that Nomad have built it. But if you're playing just a nice little relaxing game with your friends or whatever, you can do it without that function. So then anybody can take up the role midway through if there's a change in group or whatever. This doesn't bode me with much confidence. This doesn't bode well. Well, I'm going to the loot. While all this is happening, I kind of hope this works. This doesn't look good to me. Why are we stuck on this screen? I don't know. Anyway, right. Back in a minute. I'll mute myself. This doesn't bode well at all. Why is it still here? What the fuck is happening? Smile for the camera, chat. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So I guess... Oh dear, this is a shame. So if anybody's interested, I don't have the exact figure to hand, but my guess would be when we had the tournament in the autumn, we had I think we had about 170 games. Snuff probably has a better memory than me. And I think only about 2 of them resulted in a crash like this. That was completely unrecoverable for one reason or the other. So that's pretty uncommon. I think Geo hosted, I can't remember. I think Geo hosted before. It makes sense, to be honest. Hey, getting set up for my own game. Hey, how's it going? Your own stream? Huh? Oh, what? I don't like this, though. I think maybe it was wrong. Huh. Are you not playing tonight? Or maybe I'm confused. I've seen so much stuff in the chat. I'm just so hyper-focused on this game. But whose game are you recording? Oh, Worm Talon and... Terminus? Terminus and Worm Talon? Is that the game? Oh, what a shame. What a shame. What a shame, what a shame, what a shame. Okay, I'm not going to enter this time. I'm going to wait here. Yeah, I would do it meching or drop in or something, but I don't know when this is going to finish, and also I've got 9 AM work tomorrow. If I didn't have to get up early tomorrow to work, I would totally be on board for doing another one. I'll leave it in your capable hands. I'm sure. Do you have someone who's able to co-commentate with you at least? I'm going to wait outside this time. Because I don't... it shouldn't matter. It's only the players that should matter. Yeah, I'll Oh my goodness, we're already 25% of the way through the bagpipe challenge. My god, you guys are smashing it. Thank you, Moose. Thank you for the luck too. Yeah, I'll probably drop by as I'm going off to sleep. I'll have it in my ear. Are you streaming it on Twitch or on YouTube? Oh dear. Obviously, if this makes it to YouTube, I'm going to cut all this out. See if anybody would like to contribute some points into the the bike pipe stream, then feel free to do it again. We're a quarter of the way there, and the fact I'm getting a bigger audience by the day means that's good. Those 120,000 points are going to be accumulated very quickly. I think I'm going to have to up the cost next time. Okay, it looks like it's not going to work. I don't think. What happens if I try to spectate? What happens? Probably I get trapped in the loading screen would be my guess. Yeah, I'm trapped in the loading screen, folks. Oh, I'm in. But it doesn't look like Dracula's done his turn, though. Oh, and it says Azaghal8. Oh. Oh, Gio's not in the game. I'm the only one in the game. I'm the only one here. Yeah, 12 influence, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm in the game, though. That's fun. But the fact that this is loaded kind of a little... yeah, this doesn't bode well. If I saw, like, this Dracula thing had moved, I'd have a little bit more confidence. Well, this is very unfortunate. Gio activated his trap card. A wild Scots. Yeah, exactly. Scotsel just appeared to take over. I'd love to know where Dracula is. That's the thing. They're having a conversation now about what they're going to do about the game. I cannot influence it. As admin, I can't influence it. Yeah, they're so disappointing because A, you don't get the conclusion, right? But we wanted to see a finale. We want to see the hunters running around trying to find Dracula. They suddenly get a renewed vigor or consecrated ground, then we can have a lot of excitement in the final section of the game. Yeah, very unfortunate. But fortunately now, the occurrences of this happening are very rare. In the older version of the game before the Immortal update, we used to have a lot more bugs. Maybe not bugs that crashed the game, per se, but we had a lot more bugs that interfered with the gameplay or how certain cards work. So now the game works a lot more accurately than before, and the only crashes we really get are these sort of crashes, and they normally aren't unrecoverable. This one is just really unlucky. They normally happen, though, in transitions between Dusk and Dawn phases, and then the Hunter phase and the Dracula phase. Ah, that's right, Determinator, no worries. Yeah, depending on when I'm home, we could try and stream more Ori. Assuming I am in a good mood. If I am not in a good mood, then maybe we could do something different. We can maybe just start some Stardew Valley, or we could do a bit of Fury of Dracula or something. We can see. We can play it by ear. Play it by ear. The thing is, the only sort of, like, I'm thinking about it from a situation where if I'm thinking as admin, right? If these two players were not involved in my team or anything, how would I view the game? I would view the game as being very much in the Hunter favor, in the Dracula favor rather, because Dracula's up to 12 points. Dracula has a lot of health. The flip side that I would have from the hunter perspective is there's no trail to clear. So they could, apart from the current location, so they could almost exclusively supply and move, and they don't have any encounters to deal with. There are no reckless vampires, which are going to be in play anytime soon, so no easy points will be obtained that way. Dracula would have to do it the hard way by either getting to the 4th week, or trying to kill a hunter. Me as Drac Fod, yeah. We could definitely try and organise that, depending on the time determinator and depending on what your schedule is, but we can definitely try and, we could maybe try and do that. For a Dracula for Dummies stream, take 2. I'll remember to save it this time. What are they saying? Yeah, I mean, Gio's making a good point that he only needs to move once in the 4th week. So Gio can play very non-risky Dracula here and just run away. The thing is, though, we do have a horse over here. Mina might have charted carriage, but Dracula might be able to evade them. And also then if there's a fog, there's no forewarned. It's not certain. These 200s could kill Drac. It also depends where Dracula's gone. That's the thing, we don't know where Dracula's gone. Okay, it looks like I think they've decided. I think it looks like Adam's going to concede, or Azaghal's going to concede. So I'm doing some calculations. Yeah, seems fair. And they've quit. Oh, Azaghal's left anyway. Says the AI. I'll quit this now. Oh, no. Oh, interesting. Okay, so Adam is Azaghal, the hunter player, is saying that Renewed Vigor would have been played, and Gadalmi and Mina would have gone to Italy. to go searching, which I think makes a lot of sense, given the fact you'd have to start searching things like Milan, Venice, Genoa. Dracula was in Athens. So Dracula was beside Van Helsing and Seward, but I guess Dracula knows that there's no forewarned on that side of the board, unless Van Helsing had it, but Seward doesn't seem to have one. So the only way would be if somehow Seward magics up a forewarned, and then chooses to check Athens of all places. Both local rumours were gone. One evil presence could have been drawn. It's not inconceivable. But Dracula's plan was to go to Athens, hide, feed, and then leave. And then could just go to sea and then just land in the 4th week. So it would have been maybe not a very interesting finale per se, but it would have been the safest way to win. But because it was Adriatic, it meant Ionian was available. Kind of interesting, in the old version of the game, you couldn't actually wolf form over your own trail like that. They got fixed. Thanks, Nomad. Okay, I think by looks of it, because it's been conceded, I can choose this outcome. And those of you who voted for Geo, enjoy the sweet points that are coming your way. Yeah, a bit of a shame to have a stream end on this situation. It's interesting. Azaghal in the chat is saying that they didn't realize that that is Adriatic on the trail. I think there was a mistake and maybe thought it was Ionian for some reason, because of where Valona was placed or because of how the wolf form was done. But then that wouldn't explain going to Italy, that's the thing. So there might be a bit of a mix-up there of the sea zone. So maybe Azaghal might not have even considered Athens, right? So, there you go. Oh well. Shame. Shame to end a game like this. It's a very interesting game, that's for sure. But it's a real shame when we get games like this that don't end as they should. Right, okay, let's find somebody nice to go and read, shall we? Oh, let's go and raid some Roller Coaster Tycoon, shall we? I think that's a good idea. There we go. We're going to start that raid. So if anybody wants to see some Roller Coaster Tycoon action for a little bit while we're waiting for the next game to start up, then feel free to come over and join me with Amusement Academy, doing some Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. And yeah, thank you very much everybody for watching. And again, apologies again for the way the game ended, but sometimes this just happens that way. We don't like it. It's not the result that either players want. They want to see the games out to full conclusion. But it is what it is sometimes. At least around the table, if you're playing in person, you don't get any of these bugs. But the digital edition is very good. It takes care of a lot of things for you. So, you know, things we have to deal with. But the two players were very amicable about it, and Azaghal very humbly conceded. But there was definitely a way back into the game, but I think Geo had a bit of a plan. Then it would have to take a really lucky sort of evil presence and forewarned combo to even sort of threaten Dracula, which could happen, and we've seen crazier stuff happen. But anyway, I'm going to go off to bed, but let's go and say hi to Amusement Academy, do some Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, and I will see all of you in another game of Fury of Dracula very, very soon, and I might be doing some streaming tomorrow afternoon/evening, so feel free to join me for that if you're able to, and I'll see you very soon, folks. So yeah, take care, thank you for watching, the hunt is over, bye-bye.